So these people are saying that you're harassing them, following them, and swearing at them.
Oh, I've not sworn once. I can guarantee you I've not sworn once.
It's been reported to us, so our boss has signed up a direction to leave. So you're going to be issued with a direction.
In Wakefield, taking a look at a counter-protest and protest, and it's already started kicking off before I've even got set up.
Hello, you alright, mate?
What happened here? I was setting up the camera and all police turned up and what was going on.
We were out of foot anyway, just doing it's anti-racism side, but...
They're both police and
No, we're from Buffalo.
Oh yeah? Alright.
I don't know where they are.
Well, we're over there a second ago. Oh, was that you guys?
No, that was... No.
Oh yeah, we're
A few cops there, weren't there?
yeah, they're over there dealing with someone.
I think.
At first, it seemed like it could be linked to some kind of protest, and that was the impression being shared in the moment. But the explanation coming through from Luke did not fully line up and left room for doubt as the situation began unfolding earlier than expected, with tension building quietly in the background. As the interaction moved forward, the atmosphere shifted when someone stepped too close in a way that felt unnecessary and confrontational, which immediately changed the tone and drew attention to behavior that came across as careless and dismissive. And as things continued, it became clear that while everything might look normal on the surface, there was a deeper issue, because direct answers were being avoided and simple questions were not being met with clarity, which only increased frustration and suspicion. And at that point, the feeling was that this was not someone worth understanding or engaging with any further, as the lack of transparency spoke louder than anything else and made the entire encounter feel off balance and difficult to trust.
I don't know, I don't think I want to get to know this one. They wouldn't even listen to me. And apparently, like, we're the ones in the wrong, even though they're putting their phones right in our faces. But we're the bad guys, aren't we?
We're getting a dispersal.
I could do with another.
I'm holding it in.
That's coming.
They dispersed them, look.
I don't know, mate, I don't think so.
And the bronze commander and his Potsdam have arrived. 5,000 was for the logist for the day. He's got his notepad. He's walking with them too, so I would suggest he is. 5,000 your logist for the day. Are you the logist?
Not today, no.
Oh, I just seen the notepad. We're walking with these two.
I've got some things to write down.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
59925. I'm going to direct my team to have a look at maps.
The signal's just dropped out for no reason.
Oh dear.
Like fully dropped out.
Can we have a quick chat with you?
So I think people are getting dispersals. Oh, that might be an assault. So.
about your behaviour in general.
Can you come over here as well, sir? You've been naughty. Sir,
Just give us a minute, buddy.
sir, can you come over here? You come, no, thank you. You need to come over here, please, sir.
Like, he's my support. He's my
Yeah, I need to have a
mental
chat with
health
him as
support.
well.
Like, I need him.
Okay,
I
sort
need
him out and then
him
we'll sort
here.
you
I
out.
need him here to keep me calm.
So these people are saying that you're harassing them, following them,
no,
and swearing at them.
Oh, I've not sworn
so
once.
it's-
I
so
can
it's-
guarantee you
so
I've
it's
not
been-
sworn once.
It's been reported to us, so our boss has signed up a direction to leave, so you're going to be issued with a direction to leave.
Because they've lied about what I've done. I now can't.
Look at this for two-tier policing.
Look at this for two-tier policing, guys.
He makes it clear that he understands the situation and believes this is being handled under a Tier 2 style response, while firmly challenging the claim that multiple officers have reported misconduct. Because if that is truly the case, he demands to know exactly who made those claims with full names and identification numbers, since he wants full accountability and refuses to let the matter slide. As he states that this time, he intends to take serious action, unlike previous occasions where nothing followed through. And he points out that throughout the entire interaction, he has been recording continuously while maintaining control over his language and behavior without raising his voice or using offensive speech. Yet he is now being accused of actions he strongly denies, which leads him to question the credibility of the information being passed along. As the officer responds by saying they act only on what they are told, but he pushes back again, asking whether that information came directly from another officer, because if so, then it clearly conflicts with his own conduct, which he insists has been calm, measured, and consistent at all times, as he emphasizes that he is careful with every word he speaks and every action he takes to avoid situations exactly like this. And despite never having met the officer before, he stands firm on his character and approach, before the conversation shifts when he is presented with a map of Wakefield City Center showing a restricted zone that will be in place for the next 24 hours, which immediately raises a new concern for him, as he questions what options remain available if he is not allowed to enter that area, and how he is expected to continue from this point forward.
We'll have to wait outside this exclusion zone and wait for him.
He had it ready.
Two-tier policing.
Exactly, bro.
Fucking brutality.
I'll let him know,
Give you
mate.
that.
We
came here, this fucking lad here got attacked, and we're the ones getting kicked out.
Exactly, yeah. Yes, so which officers was it then? I'd like to know which officers, please.
I don't know the details now, but we'll get them for you.
Yeah, I want them before I go as well, because I'll never get them.
What's your name, buddy?
You don't need my name, do you?
I do need
What,
your
you
name,
literally need it?
Yeah, I do, genuinely.
You don't
It's
have to
nothing
give-
criminal.
You don't have to give your name, you're not badged in this section.
It's genuinely
I'm
nothing
alright then.
criminal.
No, I'm alright then.
Well, you're pretty
I don't legally have
distinctive
to do
anyway.
it.
If you're caught in this area, you will be arrested. I can certainly say that.
Under section 50, mate.
And it's social behaviour.
Yeah, believe you have to go.
Fuck this, now shoot this at you. It's not fair, is it?
Alright, I'll give it.
So, like, is this what you do then, you know, when someone makes up lies, you just, like, enforce the lies, do you, like, instead of finding out the actual truth?
I only need to speak. It's you. I thought it was something else.
No.
That was illegal use of section 50, and you fucking know it was. 100%.
He's in section 50.
Yeah. Just got me a new another holiday.
Okay, you're allowed to stay, yeah.
Ready, bastard. Fucking fire, Oh, yes, yeah. What they do, they only protect the paedophiles at the other side. Right, let's go, you Marty. Call me fucking Jesus for if you want. Send it for your paperwork. You say yourself to find ethnicity, sir? God. Just give me the fucking paperwork. Come on, you want me out of here? Let me get out of here. Fucking hell. Wasting my time, man.
Guy's been given a dispersal.
What you say, brother?
This guy's been given a dispersal.
Yeah.
So far, I think that's the only two.
The moment shifts when Jack is asked to step in and show him something, with the tone suggesting a lack of respect, which quickly draws attention as confusion follows, and the officer asks what is going on, only to be told that the laughter came from a comment about self-identified ethnicity, which is then clarified as not intended to insult, but simply something that was found amusing in the moment, as the speaker explains that certain words are part of his everyday vocabulary and not directed at anyone personally. Yet the officer makes it clear that even casual language can be taken the wrong way and should be handled carefully, especially in a tense situation. As the exchange continues, the officer reinforces that the gathering has already been dispersed and that the individual involved has also been moved on, while stressing that details have been taken and any refusal to cooperate will only lead to further action based on what has already been reported. At this point, the focus shifts as the officer tries to give guidance directly to one person but is interrupted, which leads to a firm response asking for space to do the job properly. And once that boundary is set, the situation briefly settles as the other party agrees to step back, allowing the interaction to continue without further obstruction.
That even be fucking...
I wasn't a dig at it. Wasn't a dig at him. It was just funny.
I'm swearing a part of my vocabulary. I'm not swearing at somebody ever.
But you understand that if that's part of your vocabulary, it can cause other people issues, can't it?
It can do, but you know what?
So look, Marty's been dispersed. This guy's been dispersed.
Right. So
You're saying that I have, but I haven't done it. You can just
If
make
you
things up and
refuse,
say, oh
you
well,
could be arrested.
we've heard someone said this, so now we're going to get your details.
What section did you use?
Yeah, what
I'm
section
talking
and what
to him, not you.
legislation?
And I'm trying to give him some advice.
Yeah, but you're obstructing me doing my job, so please
Apologise.
He's helping me.
No
Step
worries.
back.
No problem.
He's helping me and giving me legal advice.
Well, I was trying to help him.
That's all he's doing, he's trying to help me. I had that
He's not
right.
helping, he's obstructing me because I'm trying to
I've
talk
moved
to
back.
him.
I've moved back.
He's not obstructing me, he's trying to make up all these different things because you don't like it, that's all it is. Under what section?
I was going to go to section 50.
You do have to give your name. You have to give your name.
You've been
That's what I was trying to do, mate.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do.
It's because he knows what he's on about.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and I do.
I don't
So-
know all these different sections. I know a few of them,
you've
but
been
certain ones I don't know.
If you don't give your name, you get arrested, 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
I'll
Thank
do it
you
over
for
here
that.
away for everyone, yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
That's all I was trying to do when I came over.
Right, thank you, buddy.
1 minute you're obstructing, now it's thank you, buddy.
I know.
You did dial him. You're getting dispersed.
Yeah.
You're not here, yeah?
No, I didn't do it. That had nothing to do with me. So he's been section 50. Marty's been section 50.
Give me the paperwork then. You need your paperwork, sir. Aye. Well, I'll give you a choice. You didn't want to give it to me. I'm not finished it, have I?
Well,
Just locality.
see you later.
Two of my mates have been suspect, Martin and my mate down there.
Double dispersal here in Wakefield. There was a little kerfuffle before I turned my camera on with the counter protest here.
He is told clearly that he will have to remain outside the restricted area, and that if any officer sees him inside, it could lead to further action, which adds to his frustration, as he admits he does not even know exactly where he is most of the time, and struggles to understand the boundaries being set around him, while numbers are being called out in the background, and the situation continues to feel unclear to him, as he then directly asks what accusation is actually being made against him, and whether it is about swearing, but he immediately denies it, and states firmly that he has done nothing wrong, and that these claims are completely false. And even more concerning to him is the idea that another officer has reportedly made that accusation, which he strongly rejects as something that never happened. And because of that, he insists that before leaving, he needs the details of the officer responsible so there can be accountability. While one officer responds by saying they will try to find that information and reassures him that cameras are recording the interaction. Yet despite that reassurance, he explains that he is being moved on based on claims he believes are fabricated, which only increases his sense of injustice, as he repeats that he has not broken any rules and that the situation has been built on incorrect information. As the officer attempts to assist by figuring out his exact location on the map to guide him out properly, but he continues to stress that an officer has made false allegations against him and that he needs clarity before going anywhere. as the exchange becomes more scattered, with movement beginning and voices overlapping, and he expresses uncertainty about where he even is in the area, while indicating that he is effectively done with the situation and ready to leave, yet still focused on identifying the source of the claim, as others suggest heading toward a police station for answers, while he continues gathering what little information he can, asking again for names and confirmation, mentioning that the sergeant is called Luke, and narrowing it down to either him or one of the officers under his direction, as he tries to hold on to at least some form of accountability before the encounter fully comes to an end.
Your officers have lied, making up false allegations.
I don't know Wakefield, buddy, so you'll have to bear
I don't know Wakefield either.
Go off.
I'm off.
See you in a bit.
You're off. About here.
Hey, Marty, where are you? Yeah, I'm basically done now.
Come on then. We'll have a Jolly Boys out here.
Exactly, yeah.
As well. Are you?
Yeah, he's got
Hey, we'll go find a police station or something.
I can't do a police station. There's Westgate down there. So
yeah, we'll do something. Yeah, it's coming with me.
We're going to go together.
Yeah. So I'm just getting my last.
So you're pretty much there, buddy.
Right, yeah, I'll just go with Marty anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah, wait, can I get officer's name and
Let me find that out, buddy.
false allegations too. Yeah, one sec, I'm just getting the officer who's lied about me.
They've gone. It's the officers in the blue.
Oh, well, I need his details.
Oh, was it the sergeant?
I don't know.
Sergeant's called Luke.
Luke?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's either him or one of his
it
officers.
seems like he's scurried off, so he didn't have to give his details, isn't it?
Oh, he's there. He's there.
100%
There he is. Is that him?
It's just Martin and Nathan that's been done. Just done
Alright, pal.
You got his details?
The sergeant doesn't have the details, but through freedom of information you can request them.
Subject access, not freedom of information. Subject freedom of information for the wider.
How do they not have his
Like,
details?
it's a bit annoying though that he's made up those names.
Just like up bastards.
Like he's scurried off, so...
You can request those details if you're not happy with it.
I'm not happy though, because the only reason why he's done this is to get me out of the area. I've done nothing wrong.
I have no.
Well, that is, it's the ins and outs of it. You've done it because you don't want me here. Because they're getting wound up, so you're protecting them, taking away my rights.
I'm not from this time.
Like a journalist.
about this
The Wakefield cares.
100%.
I've explained
I come to
why.
these all the time. I don't swear at people. I don't cause any trouble. But yeah, I'm going to get off anyway.
All right, buddy. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Hey, you know, not everyone's trying to get you in.
Say again, mate.
Not everyone's trying to
No,
get you
I
in.
genuinely.
I was genuinely trying to help you.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Stop him from getting arrested. Because
Yeah.
I knew what you was going with.
Yeah,
Section
yeah.
50,
Yeah.
And he has to give his details. I get that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was trying to explain to him that you have to, and then it'll help you out as well.
That's fair enough, buddy. Thank you for that. Cause I try and do common sense policing.
Yeah.
You know,
So
everyone's got the right to protest. Everyone's got the right to be here and film. And
I get when there's loads of people around.
we're just here to
it
keep
makes it
public order.
difficult
You know,
what you're doing, but I was genuinely just trying.
yeah. Thanks for your time.
No worries, pal.
Thanks for your help.
So, 2 YouTubers down in the first 5 minutes.